Gone are days when a single phone charge lasts you days or weeks, but battery life is still an important factor when considering which phone to get. At Tom's Guide, we make sure to test every new handset so that we can be sure the advice we're passing on to you doesn't fall foul on the brand's marketing. So, with this year's releases wrapped up with the Galaxy S24 Ultra, it's time to answer which flagship phone had the best battery life. Let's find out. When using a phone, what drains the battery the most? Gaming. That's going to be the thing that takes up the most battery life because it's using the GPU, cranking out the graphics, so inherently it's going to cause more battery drain. And I also think watching a lot of videos, especially outside when you're watching it with the sun present, because the screen's going to be extra bright, it's going to cause more power usage and the battery life's going to be dropped at that point. Some of the ways manufacturers have tried to combat this as phones become more advanced is, for starters, an adaptive refresh rate. So most phones nowadays, especially the flagships, they have 120 Hz refresh rates. That's going to be a big battery drain. So as an alternative to save more power, there's either adaptive mode, which will automatically adjust the refresh rate, or drop it down to a steady 60 Hz mode, so that's really more power efficient. There are also light sensors in the displays to measure the ambient brightness so that the display will adjust accordingly. So in dimmer situations, you're not going to notice a brighter screen is going to be a lot lower. And lastly, there's the chipset. I think it's the most integral part in all of this because the more power efficient it is, the longer the battery life. So how do we measure battery life when a new handset comes out? In our custom battery tests, we make phones surf the web continuously over 5G until they run out of juice. We set the phone screen at 150 nits of brightness to ensure comparable results. And if the phone has a display with a fast refresh rate, we test multiple times with that feature enabled and disabled to get a sense of what kind of battery life you can expect. The average phone lasts around 10 hours, so anything over that mark offers solid battery life. But to earn a place on the best phone battery life list, you need to go past 13 hours. With all that being said, here's how this year's flagships compare. Meet the longest lasting flagship phone we've ever tested. The S24 Ultra's performance is 2.5 hours better than Apple's flagship, which is no slouch when it comes to lasting a long time on a charge. Samsung didn't increase the battery size in the Ultra. It remains at 5,000 mAh, so we have to give credit to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip powering the phone for its excellent efficiency. It's also worth noting we recorded that time with the S24 Ultra's adaptive refresh rate turned on, so the Qualcomm chipset does a great job managing power. Charging speeds remain at 45 watts, but we managed to get a 71% charge after 30 minutes using a 45-watt USB-C charger. Samsung doesn't include such a charger with its phone, so if you want top charging speeds, you'll need to pick up this accessory on your own. The iPhone 15 Pro Max lasted more than 14 hours on our battery test, a truly impressive time for one of Apple's flagship devices. We credit the A17 Pro chipset, which is built on a 3nm process. Because of that, the transistors are more densely packed than a 4nm chipset, which usually leads to more efficient power management. You can charge your iPhone 15 Pro Max with USB-C now that the Lightning port is a goner on all iPhone 15 models. Unfortunately, that doesn't translate to a boost in charging speeds. The Pixel 8 Pro's battery gets a minor boost up to 5,000 mAh and scores a respectable time of 10 hours and 3 minutes. That said, it still falls well behind the results posted by the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. In my real-world use, the Pixel 8 Pro's battery was completely depleted a couple hours before I normally would go to bed. That's a shock because most flagships I test tend to have between 10% and 15% of battery life before I call it in for the night. A drained Pixel 8 Pro managed to get up to 59% after 30 minutes with its fast charging, which is a consolation for its weaker battery life. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is the obvious winner out of the main brands, but there's another phone that eclipses even that in our testing. This is the OnePlus 12. It lasted more than 17.5 hours on our battery test with the help of a 5,400 mAh battery and the power management features of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 Silicon. It got that time with the phone's adaptive display enabled, so you can take advantage of faster refresh rates without having to worry about that feature draining the battery. The OnePlus 12 also offers wireless charging, which makes its welcome return to OnePlus's flagships. Wired charging supports 80 watt speeds in the US, which is good to know because the Samsung Galaxy S24 is half that, and you also get 50 watt wireless speeds. OnePlus may not be a household name, but it's definitely popular in the industry. Check out our full review of the OnePlus and the other flagships on the channel, and we will also link the latest deals to them down below. And now for a little bonus. If you're strapped for cash or looking to get your parents or grandparents a phone where they may not need all the cutting edge tech, but will really rely on a solid battery, then the OnePlus Nord N300 could be the way to go. This low-cost offering from OnePlus lasted 13 hours and 13 minutes on our battery test. We also appreciate the 33-watt charging speed that this $228 phone supports. If you don't want to spend big bucks on a long-lasting phone, the OnePlus Nord N300 may be an option. So, which device would you choose? Is battery life even that important to you anymore? Let me know in the comments below. You can also follow us on social, @TomsGuide, on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm John V, and I'll see you in my next video.